Hey guys, welcome to another fantastic episode of What? Not Another Reselling Podcast. We are a podcast that focuses on live selling, on reselling, live selling on uh, platforms all over the internet.
Like Whatnot.
Like Whatnot. We and the district and all of others. We do sell on district, so stop that. We do come out raw. We don't edit our videos. So we're not here to blow smoke up anybody's behind or try to hide anything. We try to tell the truth about live reselling. Today's topic is going to be learning on the job, the secrets that you can learn when working with a top-notch seller on Whatnot. All right.
Our guest today is Nikki of Nikki's Corner. She is the next generation of reseller. She is only 19 years old, and she has a mind for business that absolutely blows my mind. In fact, when I heard her age at first, I refused to believe it. In addition to running her own thriving Whatnot empire, she also works with top seller on Whatnot, Paul the Philly Flipper.
Yeah, and she does all of this and goes to meetups and sources and
hangs out at the beach.
Yep, has a great life just in of herself, and is a great supporter of the entire community. She has literally rated us about 6 times in a row practically, and I was finally able to return the favor the last time. So Nikki, go ahead and introduce yourself, even though we did that one right there for you.
Okay. Well, I'm Nikki, known as Nikki's Corner on Whatnot, and I sell in the storage unit category, so I'm all over the place. So full-time job is reselling, and I love it. So.
Yep.
That is awesome.
Oh, she failed to mention the fact that not only does she do all that, but she is a cutthroat when it comes to graphic tee battles.
She is.
Okay. The one person that knocked us out of the graphic tee battle last September was Nikki, and she was our teammate. We were the only ones. Did you remember that? We were the only ones, Nikki, that the teammates battled against each other.
Yep.
We were the only ones. It was Nikki and I. So it was a fabulous battle, though. We had so much fun. We have had the privilege of meeting Nikki not once now, but twice, and absolutely
working on that third time. We're working on getting down there.
Yes. Yeah. I think we got a schedule to go down there in November.
Knockwood.
Yeah. November Knockwood. We're going to be heading down your way to spend some time with Nikki's Corner. So what we're going to start off with is this is our We Want Answers segment, where we throw really hard questions at our guests. The first one is always the absolute hardest question of all. Nikki might have a hard time remembering this one too, especially with her age. But Nikki, how did you get started in reselling?
That's a loaded question for sure, because to be honest, I feel like I have a couple different answers. One being, I think it's in my blood. My family, my mom, her sister, I mean, they all professionally full-time sold on eBay. I actually did not know this until I started Whatnot, believe it or not. And so it was kind of a shocker. I was like, okay, I think it's kind of like in my cards, kind of like what it was dealt to me. But I think there was a pick I did on Facebook Marketplace, and this guy had an antique collection, and he wanted it picked up for free. And I don't know. I was like, I want this stuff. So I ended up filling up trailers, and I brought it back to my warehouse. And I was like, I need to start selling this stuff. So I started having garage sales out of my warehouse every weekend. And that's how I kind of began to be a reseller. And one day Paul Philly Flipper walked into my warehouse and was like, you got to get on Whatnot. And I'm like, okay, let's do it. I procrastinated.
That might be the smartest thing he's ever said.
Yes,
it may be. It may be. So,
now, I don't know if y'all have heard from the start of the episode. She's 19 years old. She has a warehouse. She's been selling out of her warehouse for how long now, Nikki?
I sold out of it for roughly a year and a half or so, year and some
Mm-hmm.
change, every weekend. I graduated high school 2 years early, so I did have all of those gap
Wow.
years
Incredible.
to just shoot for it. And yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's what
Right.
I did. So
I love that.
That is absolutely amazing. Well, you actually answered our follow-up question, which was how and why did you start live selling? But you met Paul the Philly Flipper,
yes.
and he came in and told you needed to be on Whatnot, which was amazing because our story is very similar. That we met
Mm,
Paul at the Nashville meetup last year, and we are
mm,
already on Whatnot, but we were on the verge of quitting
We were.
Whatnot,
mm,
not because of the fact that we weren't selling, because we were selling. We had like 6,000 sales, but we weren't having any fun
mm,
because we were
mm.
treating it the way we treated eBay, which was just try to bring the stuff out there, present it in the best way humanly possible, showing everything and selling it that way. But meeting Paul changed everything to whereas we now just go out there and have fun.
We
Yeah.
realized there was a community aspect to it, and
Yes.
that completely changed our entire focus.
Yeah. And you're not the first, by the way, that said that it was in your blood
Mhm.
because of
Mhm.
family. Lauren, homeschool mama, was one that she said that her father yard sailed, and that's how she got started. And so did Jeremy from
Mhm.
Green 13, that his parents were auctioneers. His father was an auctioneer, and that's how he got started
Lysandra,
in
I Love
business.
Discounts, said she
Yeah.
grew up in the flea market. So,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
so many people just have that in their blood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Too bad my son can't get that in his blood. Yeah, Colin, if you're watching, she's 19, has a warehouse, okay, and a thriving business, mind you.
Well, you mentioned Paul the Philly Flipper and how y'all met, and so you have actually started working for him. You help him with shipping, you help him get some of his bigger shows going and everything. What would you say the biggest lesson you've learned while working for him would be?
That's a hard one. That's a hard one. So many.
I guess it's because there's so many. Yes, that's what I was going to say.
There is a lot. I would say patience.
Okay.
I would say patience because in the beginning of my journey, I really struggled with sitting on live and not selling stuff and just taking it very seriously and just getting really
Mhm.
down.
Yes.
And I think that Paul definitely working with him has taught me to just be patient, have fun with it, and
Mhm.
Mhm.
you know, just don't give up. Just be patient. And I think that that's gotten me very far. And that's advice that I've continued to give to newer sellers throughout my journey.
Mhm.
So I think that's probably the
If you've
biggest
got
one.
good stuff, it'll sell eventually. It may not
Yeah.
sell that first show you bring it out, but
Yep.
maybe a couple months later you bring that same item out and it's getting bid up. I know we've experienced that before.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And I know for a fact I know this one for a fact. The first time that we met Nikki on Whatnot, I asked Nikki how to sell glass because we couldn't sell glass. I mean, I could have brought up $1,000 piece of glass and tried to sell it for $1, and it was not going to sell. And I would go into Nikki's show and I would watch Nikki, and she would sell this glass, and I'm like, how did she do that? So roughly about the same amount of people in our rooms, but she's selling this glass. So I asked Nikki, and that actually is how we got introduced. Because do you remember that, Nikki?
I do. I did an all glass show. That was the first and last
Yeah.
time I did an all glass show.
Well, now we're perfectly capable of selling a $20 piece of glass for $5. So we've definitely improved.
We've definitely improved from what we
Yeah.
were doing before, where we were selling, $1,000 glass for $1. Now we're selling $20 glass for $5. So we're on our way up, and that 20 is what we're paying for the glass. But Nikki told me, she said, sell paperweights. She goes, start with glass paperweights, and I said, okay, so we'll do that. And Tracy bought a whole lot of them off of didn't you buy those off of the marketplace?
I got them off eBay, actually.
Or McCrory.
It was an eBay auction.
Okay, it was an eBay auction, and Tracy bought those, and we brought those to him, and we actually made some money on that.
Yeah, we profited. Wasn't like big money, but hey, we pulled a profit.
Yeah, I mean, it was really, really good. So you don't want to sell glass anymore or have an all glass show?
I do love selling glass. I do. I collect it. I got a thing for it, but having an all glass show with the amount of shipments that I have now and the amount of items that I sell in a show now, the shipping is exhausting.
Right.
It's
No, we
exhausting.
know that part. We definitely know that part.
I try and mix it in, I mix it in, but do I think I'll do a
Yes,
full
yeah.
show of glass again? I don't know.
Oh, believe me, when I'm done with these video game shows, I'm done with these video game shows. The shipping
Yeah.
on that is
The
absolutely,
consoles
it
are
is
awful.
murder on Tracy and I. What tools or systems do you think you've learned from working with Paul that have helped you streamline your business, like the shipping process or anything like that?
Yeah. So I would say, I feel like me and him have actually kind of created concepts of shipping and organization together throughout me working for him. The way that he was doing it before is the way that I did it, is kind of just numbering things.
Right.
But at this point, I think we've both came to the conclusion together of working together that doing box method, keeping the orders sorted by person is so much easier to ship them that way. It's quicker, it's more efficient. You know that they're not missing items, because I'm pretty efficient with, getting items in people's boxes. And I think that that's, if I didn't have box method, I would probably be a lot slower with shipping. So that's a big one. I don't know. I mean, I feel like
that was a
I've taught
great
myself the
answer.
shipping process.
With the box method,
Yeah.
do you have to have a lot of space with that, or how would you do that one?
So, I run out of my she shed, which I'm in right now. It's not very big, and it's very cramped when we do bin method. You're kind of tiptoeing over things. So
Right.
yes, I would say to have a room dedicated to a box method if you're doing a show in a room, I would say yes. I would say most likely you're going to need help if you want to run fast. You absolutely could do it by yourself, but I think it is a little bit stressful doing it by yourself. But to have help is definitely a big factor
So
in the box
with the
method.
box method, when a person buys something, you write their name on a box, and then every time that they buy something, so you have the boxes already pre-laid out. But those are those the boxes that you ship in, or is it you're just using it for organization, and then you'll ship in whatever box is optimum?
Yeah. So to be honest, most orders do fit. Most orders are going to be priority. Anything over a pound goes priority. So I do put it in like number 7 boxes, so large mailing boxes, because I don't do flat rate. But so, I'll go through, count the items. I like to make sure that every single item is there, even though I know I'm efficient and whoever's helping me is efficient. And that way I can wrap it up, put the paper in the bottom. I actually take every item out of the box and repackage it, or I'll move it into a smaller box or a larger box, whatever the case may be. So, I mean, I know that the boxes are going to get used in the end anyways, so it doesn't hurt me taping them up and already having them built.
I've experimented with that, doing smaller items, but I'm a little, we sell a lot of large items, and that's kind of been my issue is like I take an Xbox 360 and stick it right on top of the box. Well, it's full now.
And like you, our media room is not very big. If we were out in our warehouse garage area, we definitely could do that, but I would need a table more or less set up for something like that.
I mean, I'm working in an extremely small space. Like, y'all wouldn't believe me if I showed you. So it is
ours
possible.
is the size of a small bedroom. So
yeah. I feel like I've got so much furniture in here. I'm trying to move things into 2 different locations at the moment, kind of get a little bit more organized. Because right now it's not working.
Right. Believe me, it's a constant process with Tracy and I of saying, okay, let's move the shelves from here to there, put them over here, maybe put them behind us, just to see what works and what doesn't work.
Yeah.
How do you balance your time between your own whatnot business and working with the other seller, Paul?
This is a fun one. Okay. Jumping right into it. It's not easy. It's really not. I'm not gonna lie. It's tough. It's very tough. I think that I would put a lot more time into my whatnot if I weren't working for Paul. But to be honest, I know he needs me, right? And I want to be there for him because he's my best friend. And
right.
It's hard to balance. I really don't have like a straight answer. It's honestly not balanced. There's no like straight answer. I kind of I wing it, and I stay up all night if I have to get everything done. Like
you make it look easy.
I do. It's not, like the balance between my own personal life and work is works up here and my personal life's down here. So it's not easy to balance for me, but I don't know. I get it done, and that's, I love what I do. So it's important to me to keep working at it. And, I don't know. I do what I got to do to keep everything moving.
That is awesome.
Well, hopefully we can find a way to get you some balance so that you can have that balance with your show. Because even without that balance, you still are growing your own show on whatnot, which leads me to my question is has you found it a challenge developing your own brand identity while you're working for somebody else?
100%. Yeah. I think it's honestly been very tough because I work for Paul. We have a lot of the same buyers, which is fantastic.
Right.
Like those people feel like family, which, is fantastic. But I definitely think it's been a struggle to develop my own identity because people are like, that's Billy Flipper's assistant. That's Nikki,
right.
So I feel like that's a lot of what people know me for, but I feel like I've done my best, tried my hardest to create a brand, and I think I've done everything right. I don't think I could have done anything better at this point. So I just, keep doing me.
Okay.
Right. And I do want to say one thing about Nikki's brand. Nikki loves ducks.
She does.
She does. And she has, it's a Jeep, isn't it?
It is. Yeah. I have a Jeep. So that's what I like when I first created Nikki's Corner. It was, I'm going to brand this under ducks because I'm a Jeep girl. I love my ducks. So that's what
And go ahead.
That's just what I went for my brand, I guess,
And your rewards program, how does your rewards, because I know your rewards program is associated with ducks. Can you explain that? Because I absolutely love this whole thing because we do our cats because it's very personal to us.
For us, it's cats and thinly veiled drug references. That's how we branded ourselves.
Thank you for that one right there. By the way, YouTube, this is Tracy. This is not Jack's Treasures. Okay, we can cancel Tracy out.
Sorry,
but go ahead and explain your rewards program on your tiers because I know it's associated with the ducks.
Let me see if I can get it right. I don't know. So it goes from an egg. You're an egg, and then you're incubating, and then you're hatching, and then you're a duckling. And then my top tier, you become a duck.
Wow. So there you go. I love that. I think that's great. It gives people just something to me, it makes it more personal. And that is part of the branding of Nikki's Corner, which is amazing.
I love that they do that, because I know for us, when people hit that next level, they celebrate that they hit the next cat.
I know.
So I'm sure
they
it's
always
the same
ask.
thing.
They always
Yeah.
ask, well, what is the Archie level? Well, Archie is our cat. You know, it's not the cartoon character or anything like
Right.
that, but that's our cat and stuff. And you know, then we explain it to them. So that was amazing.
Yeah.
Great answer on that one, Nikki. And yeah, it's definitely a challenge, which is why we wanted Nikki's Corner on our podcast.
What's a strategy that the big sellers use that you think small sellers might not know about?
I know one. I don't know. I don't know if I can share it.
Okay. Yeah. You don't have to.
Yes.
There's what I don't know. I'd just be like I'd say shipping. I would say shipping. In the way that you put in the wait for your items. Some people, you know, I feel like new sellers overdo it. You know, they think
I agree. 100%.
You know what I mean? And I think that that's a big game changer when you can really figure out your weights for your items and your shipping. That's
when you realize you don't have to be perfect, as long as you're close enough over a show of 50 items, it's going to work out.
If you ask her, she'll tell you that I am still antiquated with the shipping process.
That's
and
why I do that.
The new seller with the shipping process.
Right. Yeah. I think I honestly I see a lot of sellers struggle and just due to that fact. So I think that's the biggest game changer for sure.
Yeah.
I think that about what would you say about at least 4 or 5 of our guests have said that the biggest challenge that they have on doing any live selling on any live platform is the shipping process. And it's funny because for us, that's not it at all. For us, it's getting our asking price. And, you know, that's one of the things that it amazes me that people come up and they say, well, it's the shipping. The shipping is so hard. The shipping is so hard. I said, Whatnot does it. How is it hard?
Yeah.
All you do is just put in the weight and stuff. So, but yeah.
People make it more difficult on themselves instead of just
I agree.
riding the wave of normal, regular shipping. I think people just kind of overthink about it a little bit. So
what would you suggest is the secret to shipping?
Ignore the exact weight. You know, there's shipping categories for a reason, you know. I'm not saying put a 10-pound item in a 1-pound box, you know.
Right.
But
we're not trying to do mail fraud here. We're not doing USA fraud.
We're not doing that. But you know, I'm saying you got like random polls, for example. I think a lot of people struggle with that. I mean, most of my items I'm eyeballing, you know, they might be 10 ounces and I'm random pulling them under 8. You know, I might be an ounce or 2 off, whatever it may be, but it makes a difference for the buyers. It makes a difference for me. And if something genuinely is off, I'll go in and adjust it. You know, it's no problem. So, and that'll be on me, you know, but your buyer's not going to get upset with you because they don't have to pay that extra bit, you know? And I think, I think that's a big one. Yeah.
Yeah. Cause and I always argue this, if you put in something that weighs 4 ounces and you put it in the 4 to 7, Whatnot automatically counts it as 7. Well, now if you run 2 items that are 4 ounces, that's only 8 ounces where Whatnot is saying that's 14 ounces. And then you run another one and they buy it and it's 4 ounces. Well, now they're only at 12 ounces, but Whatnot's got it over a pound. So that's why, So I know exactly what you're saying.
And that's why there's custom shipping profiles too, you know? I mean, that's definitely helped me a lot with random polls, doing the 8 ounce and 4 ounce, you know? So,
right.
Like I said, adjusting is not too bad if you have to do it, you know?
Yeah. So. Yeah, that's great. Well, this is a very, very a big question, especially since everything that we've talked about so far is how do you avoid burnout when you're essentially working 2 Whatnot jobs?
You don't.
You hear that, Paul? It's time to give Nikki a raise before she burns
honestly,
out.
I really can't lie and say that everything is always peaches and cream and that I'm okay. Because that's just not the case. I don't think it's possible not to. And everything that I do in a day, just waking up and going to sleep, I'm working in my sleep. I literally dream about working in my sleep.
I've had those days. I have
like every night.
Okay, but you haven't burnt out yet because you're still doing it.
I am still doing it. Yes.
So how are you still doing it even if you have burned out?
Just motivation. Knowing that
I didn't get that. Could you try again?
Sorry.
Good Lord, Tracy.
I hit the Siri button.
I think being so young, I have a lot of things that I want to achieve. I'm hoping to, put my first down payment on a house in the next few years.
Awesome.
So I think that the drive for me of wanting that and knowing that if I stop, if I quit or take a break, that I'm not going to have that, So I think it's the drive for me to keep pushing myself to get the things in life that I want. So I think
there you go.
Yeah.
How do you avoid the burnout? You set a goal.
Yeah,
you set a goal. 100%.
You might get burned out. There's no doubt about that and
Yeah.
stuff. And even Tracy and I have got burned out like yesterday. Okay. After, it was funny because Paul was in a show today that I was also in. He made the comment. He says, "What, you only have one show today?" And I said, "I did 8 shows in 4 days." And we shipped all of those, and they were big shows. Because one of them was Primetime Spotlight, which Nikki co-hosts on that one. Awesomely, I will say. But yeah, I said we got burnt out. I was exhausted yesterday completely, and it was so stressful. But we had a little mini meetup with some resellers from this area, which was awesome because we were just able to relax. And before that meetup, you can ask Tracy, I was a wreck. I was nervous. Oh my God. I was nervous. I was at any drop of a hat, I was going to get upset over.
But it wound up being just a real chill, laid back thing. Everybody was drinking beer and eating tortilla chips and just chatting. So it was a good time.
Yeah. So, but keeping that goal in mind, having that down payment on a house. And by the way, just letting you all know, I don't know if Nikki wants me to say this, but Nikki lives in an area that it is not exactly cheap to put down money on a house. Okay.
So that is a huge goal.
Yeah. And that is an amazing goal. I don't really know that goal because I was in the Navy and I used VA loans, and I never had to put anything down on a house. Otherwise, I probably never would have bought a house because I would have never been able to be motivated enough to, or I wasn't motivated. I wasn't disciplined enough to put that money aside for that house. So that's a great goal. So if you're out there and you see Nikki's Corner and she's running a show, help her out putting a down payment on a house because we want to go down and visit.
My door will always be open.
What is something you have learned either from Paul or just through your own experience about growing your own audience on Whatnot?
Yeah, that's a great question.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That is a good question.
I wrote it.
I would say I've learned to just kind of be myself in a way, just be who I am. And I think that that's honestly enough to grow your own audience. Just be you, hang out, make personal connections with your buyers. I feel like a lot of people don't do that, and making personal connections with your buyers is so important. Like, I swear to goodness, if I met some of them tomorrow, it would be like I've known them forever. So I think that's extremely important to grow your platform.
It's something we actually were talking about at our little meetup last night with one of our local friends, was finding your tribe of people. And it may not be what you think it is. She's a crystal seller. And we're obviously in the storage unit seller. Well, we met her in a clothing show on Secondhand Sarcasm's channel. I mean, so you're going to find this tribe in the most unexpected places.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I know about Paul that I have seen is I think he knows every single user's first name.
He does. It's
and
incredible.
I am like, how do you know that? I don't know like my own family's first name or want to know my own family's first name. But you understand it is just so hard to do that. But making those connections, I think, is super, super important on the channel. And I've actually tried to improve that.
Sometimes he messes up. So
I do. I mess up people's names all the time.
Make fun of him all the time.
Yeah, because I don't know their name. And it's not because I don't like them or I don't know them or I want to know them. That's not it. It's that I'm really old and I was a teacher for 18 years. So I think I did the category one time, and I think I've taught over something like 3,000 students. And so it would be hard for me to try to remember all of those students. And at the meetup, we discovered that I might have taught one of the people that we just literally met at the meetups. I might have taught their son and daughter.
That's so crazy.
Like, go figure. I don't even know. So it's just amazing. But yeah, getting to know your audience and making that personal connection is really, really good. Where are we at?
Last one.
We're on the last question right there, Nikki. You're almost done. And it wasn't too bad, was it?
No, of course not. I love chatting with you guys. So it doesn't bother me.
Great. If you had one piece of advice to give somebody juggling both roles, like you would be doing right now, like you're doing right now, what would that one piece of advice do? Or to anybody who's thinking about doing something like that?
So you mean like working for Paul and
right?
Yeah, okay. Like working with a top tier seller, and I do consider a larger seller. I do consider Paul to be a top tier seller. Along with Jen's multiverse and things like that. Don't tell Paul that though.
No,
don't tell Paul.
Okay. Piece of advice. You're gonna need to learn that. You're going to need to learn to balance, I guess. I don't know. It's impossible, but I think you're going to have to mentally prepare yourself for the amount of work that you're going to get yourself into. Because I honestly did not mentally prepare myself. I think at first it was kind of just, I was coasting, kind of just not really thinking about what I was getting myself into, really, with the amount of work. But mentally preparing yourself is absolutely necessary. I mean, even just for getting on Whatnot, because my whole life is Whatnot. I eat, sleep, breathe it. So yeah, mentally prepare yourself. Biggest one, my mental health is the most important thing to me in life. So, and I think it should be to everybody. So I think that's the biggest piece of advice.
That is some great advice coming from somebody who is literally 19 years old.
Yes.
And I'm sorry that I keep harping on that.
It impresses Nikki, us so much.
But it is just an amazing thing because, like I said, we have met Nikki before, and nobody could have told me that Nikki was 19 years old. And when we met her, she was 18. And I was like, no, I don't believe that. And it's not because of she's just way more mature.
She's very composed and
very
professional.
Got a great head on her shoulders. That's why I said, or Tracy said, you are to me the next generation of resellers. And if you can inspire any of these younger people that may be watching this to say, hey, look, I'm 19 years old and I'm doing this, I'm growing my own business. I'm getting ready to put down money on my own house in an area right now that is super expensive. Okay. Yep. And it's going to happen. And with Nikki, I can almost guarantee you it's going to, well, I know it's going to happen. There is absolutely zero doubt on that part. Yeah.
Well, now we're going to talk about what's new on Whatnot. Number one is
what's new on live reselling.
Which they're both about Whatnot today. The first one is just my chance to complain a little bit. Whatnot seems like they change the seller hub every single day and how you access it and how you interact with it. And it's different on the computer and on the phone. So, Whatnot, get your act together, figure it out.
Agreed.
What do you think? It is definitely getting more confusing. It took me a good almost 10 to 15 minutes to figure out how to get
out of
from the seller hub to get out of it to go to, I just want to see who's on Whatnot. So
that was on the computer, but
it's
like you were stuck there.
Yeah, it's like you're trapped. You're trapped.
It felt like somebody handed me the phone for the first time.
Yeah. So what do you think of those changes that Whatnot is trying to do to the seller hubs?
Yeah, I don't love it. I'm not gonna lie, I don't love it. It genuinely was like someone gave me a phone for the first time. I had no idea.
Right.
I think I was trying to pay myself out.
Yes, that one took me a while too.
It took me like 30-40 minutes, no joke, to figure out how to get my money. I was like, what is happening? So honestly, I don't love it. If I have a hard time figuring it out, I think everyone's gonna have a hard time.
I'd be broke. I'd be living out on the street with a $10,000 in my Whatnot account, and I'm out on the street because I don't know how to do any of that stuff. Thank God I got Tracy. Here's something that when this comes out, this will be released on Sunday. When this comes out, this event will already be over.
It'll be wrapping up.
It'll be wrapping up. But Whatnot is doing something called What's Upon a Summer, which is an event that's going to be happening from June the 27th to June the 29th. And this is actually, I love this idea. Whatnot is running a magical promotion where one lucky winner is going to win a $3,000 Disney vacation credit. And in order to participate in this, the sellers have to host a Disney themed live show tagged in the Disney category, using the Once Upon a Summer tag. They can customize their thumbnail and they can show their Disney spirit by doing this. And it's the buyers, if they buy from that show that is tagged Once Upon a Summer, then they're entered in through Whatnot for a chance to win a $3,000 Disney trip. So do you ever use any of the Whatnot? I know we've done a couple Whatnot events before. Have you ever done any of the Whatnot events, or could you see any new buyers using that?
I think I did one of the latest ones. It was like Whatnot Con or something like that.
Okay.
I think I did that one. Pretty sure. But I don't really keep up with the trends going on, I guess. I need to do a better job of doing that.
That's
it is tough.
Something I was going to mention is they're not very good at getting that information out.
Yeah.
I literally got an email about that yesterday, and it's for a sale Friday through Sunday. So this morning we woke up, we're like, well, let's do a Disney show Saturday instead of what we were going to do. Why not?
My thing is on this is that I can probably sell like a Disney VHS tape for $1, and in the whole time I'm holding it up, I'm saying, this is your chance to get a $3,000 trip to Disney by only spending $1 on this VHS, and hopefully I can, blow through these VHSs that Harley.
And we were very lucky. We just got a big Disney Funko haul, so it was like, okay, this makes perfect sense.
Yeah. So we're using it to see if we can get some new buyers and get some new buyers in our shows.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, now it's time for the Shine the Light segment, where we spotlight 3 live sellers.
She was surprised, it literally has her name listed right down next to the thing on our show.
I forgot I get to talk again. Where we spotlight 3 live sellers at different levels and talk about their sales, their followers, and kind of what they're doing on Whatnot.
And we get to see if Nikki knows any of these sellers, which I know she knows one of them.
New seller, a growing seller, and an established seller.
And Nikki has been one of our sellers. You were one of our growing sellers like us.
Yeah.
So we have
new
Spotlight with
sellers.
Nikki.
We consider people that are under either 1,000 sales or 1,000 items. And this new seller is Jenjrtrinkets. She sells on Whatnot. So far, she's had 192 sales and 443 followers. And she specializes in Sanrio, Kawaii, and Disney. And she actually has some Labubu coming up very soon.
Yeah.
I
Have
just bought
you
my
heard
first
of that one?
Labubu.
Have you?
Coming in the mail. It's coming in the mail.
Did you get it from
y'all.
Andy? Did you get it from Andy?
I got it from Run It for $1.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wow.
I'm so excited.
That is
I better get
awesome.
the pink one.
That is awesome.
How did we meet Jen?
How did we meet Jen? I actually found her on our local Facebook group that's about our town, and she mentioned Whatnot on there. She wrote something. Somebody was asking where they could find. I think it was actually she was asking where can you find Labubu, and she wrote in there, well, you should check out Whatnot. There's a lot of people that have them there at better prices than you can find on eBay and stuff. And I was like, are you a seller on Whatnot? And I start writing her, and that's how we found her. And she lives like 5 minutes away from me.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So that was
really
cool.
good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Our growing seller is Gigi, known as Callmegigi.
Yes.
On Whatnot. They sell on Whatnot with 3.8 thousand in sales and 5.7 thousand followers. So they are definitely she is definitely a growing seller.
Mm-hmm.
She sells in the everything category, and she has some fun shows. Gigi is an amazing one. She usually has Loungefly in her shows, which is just amazing. And she is I don't know if you know this, but she is a huge supporter of other sellers on Whatnot. She comes into our shows and just she buys from us all the time, and she mods for us without even, we don't even put mod status on her, and she mods for us. But do you know Callmegigi?
I do. I love Callmegigi. See, she's so sweet.
Yes.
She's so sweet.
She is.
And our established seller is Toasty Gold. Toasty Gold sells on mainly the storage units and estate sale categories, some pallet liquidation, things like that. They have 19.3 thousand sales and 16.3 thousand followers.
I do have to make a correction because I forgot to edit this when I was doing my sheet. Toasty Gold mainly sells jewelry.
Oh, okay.
I
just read what you wrote.
I know. I said it was my fault that I messed up on the editing part and stuff. Obviously, we went through a little bit of a burnout because we had so many shows this past weekend. Do you know Toasty Gold?
I do. Yeah, I've been in quite a few shows. Yeah.
Yeah, and I bet you were just as surprised when Tracy said
clearly more than me. I don't really know Toasty Gold that much. It's funny. We always either we go back and forth with who's picking our new and our medium sellers. And I picked the first two today, and I was like, Toasty Gold. I've heard the name, but I don't know who they are.
Yeah, so they are really good. We met Toasty Gold through Green 13.
Okay.
We usually see him on his ones.
Well, I apologize to you. I will make it a point to come in your show and meet you. Clearly, Brian knows you.
I do, and like I said, I use editing on our show notes, and I try to read through them as I go through. And that one just missed me. Not only that, but I also called him a her, and I also called Callmegigi a he. But I was able to correct that one.
Oh.
I was able to correct that one before I said it.
Brian's poor show notes.
Well, you're the one that has me typing them all out because you can't read my show notes. It's complaining hour. Sorry, Nikki. Sorry. Okay, it is. I know. I didn't put the T by it this time. It is time for Turn the Tables, where we let our guest, which is Nikki's Corner, she gets to ask us any tough questions that she would like, and we will try to answer them as the best of our ability without lying.
Okay. Okay. Percentage wise, how much do you sell on Whatnot, and how much do you sell on like eBay or like Poshmark, those type of selling sites?
As of this point, I would say we are 95% Whatnot.
Okay,
yeah,
which is a huge change from the way it's been.
That's
even a year ago.
It's even that way for our listed items too.
Mm-hmm.
Our listed items on eBay or Poshmark or Mercari. And I hate to tell you this, but huge announcement: Amazon, you're done.
We
Okay.
literally am pulling the last of our items off of Amazon.
No.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Amazon is gating so many people now, or gating us in so many categories. And the worst part about it is we have been on Amazon from the beginning of Tracy and I being together, which is now going on about 15 years. We have been on Amazon. And we've been constant on Amazon. We've been sending in orders. We've been sending in items. We've got great sales through them. And then the next thing you know, oh, you can't sell this. You can't sell this. You can't sell that.
I'm going to randomly send you 3 boxes of tally counters back.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, and then also we're going to charge you for that too. And I'm like, oh, no. So
a lot of complaints with that.
Yeah.
But
Amazon is gone. When we do our percentages of where we're putting our focus, at one point, eBay was probably 50%. And then we had some antique mall booths stuff, and that was about 20%. Whatnot was about 10%. Mercari and all the others made up all of the rest of those. So we have basically done with antique malls and booths. We don't have any of those anymore. They're just the return on our time was not there. Amazon, they just decided that we're not big enough for Amazon and they don't want us on Amazon anymore. Our probably number one is definitely Whatnot. Our number 2 is, believe it or not, the Facebook Marketplace. We're selling a lot on the Facebook Marketplace because those are items that you don't want to ship. They're just too big for that. eBay and Mercari and all of the rest, they're there. But it's just we're
Whatnot.
We're Whatnot. We do sell on District.
We do. We actually ran a show yesterday on Shop Commons.
Yeah, we ran a show on Shop Commons, which was really good. We did really well with that one. And the problem that we have with District is a problem that we're going to have with District for probably about 5 years. District is the same as Whatnot. You get paid instantly after your 1,000 sales. Well, we're on there every 2 weeks on Shop Commons, and we're only selling 20 lots of items. Now, if you went by the lot and you said, oh, well, yeah, I mean, there's 200 items in this lot, so that's really should be the 200. It's not. So we won't get that InstaPay on there for about 5 years. And that is just something that, if you need that money, which we don't, but if you needed that money, it would be an issue because that's the same as it was up until.
Well, for us, sometimes we'll do something like, we decide we want to just go out of town for the night. It's fun to run a Whatnot show and take that money straight out and be like, it's paid for. So
absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. And one of the best is that if something happens, our dryer almost went out. And we said, okay, we'll run a Whatnot show and we'll use money for that. I know that for you guys had horrible storms last year, and I'm praying you don't have them this year. I really am for you guys. Gosh. But last year, I know you had some horrible storms, and using Paul as an example, lost a car in the process. That his car went belly up, and so he had to buy a new car, and he did. By draining his savings account. But then within a month, he tried to replenish that using Whatnot funds. So that was a great question. We are definitely moving even more towards Whatnot, and just taking our stuff down off of eBay, because there's some stuff we'll probably always have on there because it's just stuff that's better suited because it needs more eyes on it before it'll sell. It has value.
I'm not going to sell a car part on Whatnot. I mean,
I don't know.
Sit up there and hold it up for $1, and nobody's going to bid but $1 for it, and it's worth $85 or something.
If anybody just offhand comes into our show and needs a tail light for a Mazda 3XR or whatever it may be, but that was a great question. Well, thanks to I want to say thank you to Nikki. She has been an amazing guest. And if you get a chance, I also wanted to say this. There will be links down there below to Nikki's Corner on Whatnot, and any other links that Nikki would like for me to share, I will definitely share with her. So you can find her very easily just by going down and clicking on Nikki's Corner on Whatnot and checking out her shows. Give her a follow. She is amazing. We absolutely, and if you ever get a chance to meet Nikki, you are probably going to meet the most genuine person I have ever met in my life. You're also going to be absolutely surprised about the size of Nikki, because she comes driving up in this huge Jeep. I mean, this thing is like a monster. And I was like, oh, look, they're letting their daughter drive their car. And it was Nikki who came out, and she just came out and gave me a great big hug, and I gave her a great big hug back because she's that genuine of a person. She's super, super sweet, and somebody that you should get to know. And she goes to meetups. She was at the Nashville meetup last year. I actually have pictures. It was great. And I met Nikki's boyfriend, Cam, who we just absolutely adore. Cam too. I'm hoping he's still in your life. I don't know. We haven't really chatted lately. So he hasn't gone Whatnot out yet. He hasn't. I should have asked that question. Is Cam doing well with you having all of this Whatnot?
You know, I think my biggest thing is I'm a very blunt person. I'm a kind person, but I can be very blunt, and I'm going to live my life, how I want to live it. And if you don't like it, you don't like it, like, I think he's the same way. So it works,
He seems very supportive from us meeting him.
He's very supportive. Yeah. I mean, I'm gonna be me, he's gonna do him, I'm gonna do me, and like you can't live. Life's too short to like live under any type of 100%. Rules or restrictions.
A 19-year-old just said life is too short to somebody who is 60 years old. Thank you, Nikki. I'll be buying a shovel on my way to the post office today to start digging.
Brian, just remember, only the good die young, so you're gonna live forever.
Wow, unbelievable. But definitely thanks to Nikki for coming on and agreeing to be a part. Nikki, is this your first time being on a podcast?
This is, but it was fun. Wow, I appreciate you guys having me.
Well, I'm sure it will not be the last. I'm sure somebody who's much bigger and more amazing than us is going to
I was on the draft. I was in the draft when I heard Ray talking, and Kristen were talking, saying, we need to get Nikki on here. We need to get Nikki on here. So there you go.
That's always Brian's goal, is to get someone on before Ray can. That's his personal
that is
goal.
Not my goal. That is not my goal. Ray, that is not my goal, because Ray might actually watch. I don't think he's going to watch to the 52-minute mark.
Been on with us before, so I think he has watched.
Oh, I love Ray. I absolutely
love Ray. Ray's amazing.
Yeah. Our next week's guest is we're trying to get Jen from Jen's Multiverse. But or Archie Biscuit Butt. We have reached out to both of them. I think we're going to be getting Archie Biscuit Butt on first, and then hopefully we'll be able to get Jen from Jen's Multiverse on to do some more talking. So definitely take a look at that. Everybody that we spotlighted, there's links down there below to help them out. So if you want to come and check out any of the new buyers that we talked about, Jen, Gigi, or Toasty Gold, there'll be links down there below to their website.
Once again, sorry, Toasty Gold.
Yes, that was totally me. I will take responsibility for that one. Toasty. Yep, I will definitely take the one on that. There'll also be a link down there below to help soldiers stop soldier suicide. That's the charity that Tracy and I hold near and dear to our heart. One of the things that I would like to ask Nikki is if Nikki would be so kind as to spare some time for Jack's Treasures in November on Veterans Day to be a part of our Veterans Day raid train again, because that's the only raid train that Tracy and I do all year. And it would be an honor to have Nikki's Corner on there. If she could say
Again.
yes.
I will. Of course.
Awesome. We've got Nikki's Corner down there. That would be great.
That will be awesome. So one final question to end this up, and then we will let everybody go. What does the future hold for Nikki's Corner, particularly on Whatnot, but anything else you want to share?
Yeah.
I feel like I've got a lot of potential with Whatnot. I think I'm just going to continue to grow, make a name for myself, and keep trucking at it. You know, I hope to be on Whatnot for the next 10 years. I don't know. We'll see. It might kill me by then, but we'll see.
I hope she'll remember us in 10 years.
Yeah, I do too.
The little guy.
How could I forget? How could I forget?
He'll be the little old man at the home watching you.
You're going to put me in a home in 10 years? Oh my gosh. Breaking news on Jack's Treasure. This will be our last episode with Tracy on it.
But thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for Nikki for being here. If you happen to like what you see, drop some comments, like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. And we will see you next time.
Thank you again, Nikki.
Peace.
Thanks, guys.
Bye, everybody.